And today I'm going to discuss the fast Fourier transform. Okay, so fast Fourier transform is um simple, but if I will say fast Fourier transform is the same as the discrete Fourier transformation, which provides the Fourier coefficients of the finite signal, but only the way to consider or to compute the Fourier coefficient will be different. Okay, that means if the input signal is given and you want to compute the Fourier coefficients using the DFT, and this input signal is in the finite duration time interval. Okay, so in same way, when you applied the fast Fourier transformation, again you will get the same Fourier coefficient using these algorithms. But only the way to wait for the computation of these Fourier coefficients is different. Why we are adopting this fast Fourier transformation? Already we have the discrete Fourier transformation to compute the Fourier coefficients of the finite time interval inputs. The main reason is the computational time or the computational cost. So when you are applying the discrete Fourier transformation mathematical expression to compute the Fourier coefficients, so whatever the number of multiplications and the additions to multiply these two complex number, then addition, then then calculate for n equal to 0 to capital of n minus 1, then again you have to calculate for individual k value of 0 to n minus 1. So number of the computation is small in case of the fast Fourier transformation rather than the discrete Fourier transformation. That's why we are using the fast Fourier transform instead of the DFT. And these are the basic purely computational algorithms. That means you can design or you can code for the fast Fourier algorithms. Okay. Just wait, I think screen is not visible. Wait. Just wait. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. So whatever the algorithm we have to adopt in case of the to compute the fast Fourier transformation as a discrete Fourier coefficients. First is divide and conquer approach. Second is the Redux-based algorithm. And in case of the Redux-based algorithm, you have the two different kind of approach. First is decimation in time. Okay. And second is decimation in frequency. Decimation, that is again the downsampling in the time domain and the downsampling in the frequency domain. So the other Redux based algorithm, and some more algorithms are available for the linear filtering as we have done earlier with the DFT approach. Okay, so but we will more concentrate on these two algorithms basically, and both these algorithms are computationally rich. That's why we are going to adopt the fast Fourier transformation instead of the this discrete Fourier transform. And why we are saying all again and again this is a computationally rich, and how to calculate the computational cost in case of the DFT. So if you see the DFT expression, that is x of k summation n equal to 0 to n minus 1 x of n exponential of minus j 2 pi by n into k of n, where n is again limit tending to n minus 1 and k is also 0 to n minus 1. Now to find out the computational complexity, or why this computational complexity is needed, because if we are going to implement in the real time this mathematical formulations, so always in the discrete system, they are the discrete parameters are the adder and the multipliers, because subtraction is also we have done with help of the adder. So firstly we need to compute how many number of the addition is required and how many number of multiplications are required. To find out this n point DFT, because k is 0 to n minus 1, so always this is called as the n point DFT. Okay. Now because this is a complex multiplication, x of n into e to the power of j of this one, so we expand if this series for the single value of k, that means if we are calculating for one value of k, when going to calculate number of, because this is a complex number, so I am writing here number of the complex multiplications and number of complex addition. Now can you tell, if we expand this series for n equal to 0 to n minus 1, so how many complex products are required and how many additions are required? Because n equal to 0 to n minus 1. So n number of the complex products we have. So number of the complex multiplication are required, capital of n, and all these n number of the products will be summed up. So how many number of the complex additions are required? That will be n minus 1. If you have any confusion regarding this, please let me know first. Because you are expanding this series, x of 0 exponential minus of this power of 0 plus x of 1 e की power minus of j 2 pi by n into k plus x of 2 e की power minus of j 2 pi by n into 2k and so on up to n minus 1. So we are getting the product of the x of n in this exponential term plus again the x of n into exponential term plus again x of 2 into exponential term. So number of the product we are counting, that will be capital of n, and number of the addition will be capital of n minus 1 for a single value of k only. I am not going to calculate for k equal to 0 to n minus 1. Okay. Now, for if the single value of k, if the number of the complex multiplication is n and the number of complex additions are n minus 1. So for all the values of k, that means 0 to n minus 1, how many number of complex multiplication will be? That means n into n, that should be n square. And similarly, complex addition, that will be n into n minus 1. So if we are going to calculate suppose 100-point DFT, so 100 of square number of complex multipliers are required to implement this DFT, and 100 into 99, that means 9900 number of complex additions are required to implement this DFT. So this is the computational cost in terms of the number of complex multiplication and additions. But when we are going to get the complex multiplications, so can we find out how many real multiplications are required? Tell me this. Now I am talking about the real multiplication. For this one, for a single value of k, how many number of real multiplications is required? For the single value of k, number of the complex multiplication is n. But for a one complex multiplication, that means for for one complex multiplications, now I am going to calculate how many number of real multiplications is required, how many number of real additions are required. I am not going to calculate for the n number of the complex multiplication. I am going to calculate only for the one complex multiplication, how many number of real multiplications and additions are required. Now suppose one complex multiplications means what? I am writing this. This is a one complex multiplication number. So what we have, that is AC minus of BD plus J A of D plus B of C. So real multiplications is what? A multiplied by C, because A and C are the real number. B into D, A into D, B into C. That means for one complex multiplications, we have the 4 number of the real multiplication. And real additions mean what? This is, we can write AC plus minus of BD. Because earlier what I have said is subtraction we can implement with the adder only. Okay. So one real additions and second real additions. AD plus BC. So 2 number of the real additions are required here. Okay. So if for the one complex number, 4 real multiplications in the 2 real additions are required. So n number of the complex multiplication for a single value of k, we require the, that means for n complex multiplications, we require 4n real multiplications and 2n real additions are required. Up to this, any doubt? Yeah. Okay. Now next is what? Number of the additions, complex addition. If for the number of the complex additions, if I am going to calculate, so how many number of real additions and multiplications are required? If I am adding this to, that means a plus c plus j, b plus d, 1 and 2. So only 2 real additions are required for one complex additions. So for n minus 1 complex additions, how much will be required? That means 2 of n minus 1 real additions for a single value of k. So if I am going to calculate for single value of k, number of real multiplications will be 4 of n, and number of real additions will be 2 of n plus 2 of n minus 1. So this will be 4n minus of 2. Okay. And similarly, if we calculate for n or all value of k, that means 0 to n minus 1, how much is required? That means 4n square real multiplications and n of 4n minus 2 real additions. Or you can write this 2 take on common, that will be 2n minus 1. Okay. So if I am going to calculate the 100-point DFT to compute, that is 4 into 100 square. This is the real multiplier required, and 2 into 100 or 200 minus 1. This amount of the real additions are required for this 100-point DFT computations. That's why the requirement of the fast Fourier transformation will. Okay. Now come to the fast Fourier transformation algorithm. First, I am going to discuss the divide and conquer approach. Okay. Now, in case of divide and conquer approach, basically based on the decomposition of n-point DFT into successively smaller DFTs. Now, suppose if we have the n-point DFT, so this capital N can be factored as a product of two integers. It means what? If I have n-point DFT, so we can write n equal to L into M, and L and M are both integers. That means if we have the suppose 15-point DFT I'm going to calculate, so I can write 5 into 3. That's it. And the way to store the number of the samples in the sequence is different. Either you can store row-wise sample sequence, or either you can store column-wise event. Because in a single dimension, if we have, because before starting with the mathematical formulations of this algorithm, firstly we need to discuss this some two-dimensional array. If we have the x of n, and x of n is what? X of 0, x of 1, x2 up to x of n minus 1. And we can store directly in the single dimensional array. That means x of 0, x1, x2, and so on up to x of n minus 1. Now the same array, if I am going to store in the two-dimensional, that means we are factorizing this n number of the value into L and M. Now I'm going to store in this two-dimensional array like this. This is 0, 1, 2. This is L minus 1, 0, 1, 2. This is M minus 1. So this limit I am going to compute here, L equal to 0 to capital N minus 1, and this M will be equal to 0 to M minus 1. So if I am going to calculate the 15-point DFT, so our L is 5 and M is 3. So this L, small l, varies from 0 to 4, and small m varies from 0 to 2. And in generalization, I am going to compute from 0 to L minus 1 and 0 to M minus 1. So what is the basic procedure to compute of this one? That means x of 0, comma 0, x of 0, comma 1, x of 0, comma 2, and this will be x of 0, comma m minus 1. Similarly, this x of L minus 1, comma 0, and this will be x of L minus 1, comma m minus 1. So we can store the data like that. But how we can relate with the mathematical formulation of this? Because if we take the transpose of that, that means suppose if 0, 1, 2 up to m minus 1, 0, 1, 2 up to L minus 1. So either we can fill x of 0, then x of 0, 1, x of 0, 2, x of 0, m minus 1, or either we can fill firstly x of 0, 0, x of 1, 0, x of 2, 0, x of L minus 1, 0. Then we will start with the next element of the second column. So with this two-way and reduce the mathematical formulation of this, suppose if I am computing small of n, because this small m is varies 0 to n minus 1. So this small of n, if this is capital M, L, small of n. this. Now how we can store this data based on this? And L is 0, 1, 2 up to L minus 1, 0, 1, 2 up to M minus 1. This is L, this is M. When small l is 0, n equal to what? M value. So if small m, and small m is varies from 0 to capital M minus 1. So m is 0. This will be x of 0. Small m is 1. This is x of 1. If small m is m minus 1, this will be x of m minus 1. Now the next sequence, L is 1. Now L is 1, so n will be what? That is m plus small of m. Now again this small m, that will be 0 to m minus 1. So the next sequence will be what? If m is 0, this will be x of m. This is x of m plus 1. And this will be become x of 2m minus 1. In this way. Now when L equal to L minus 1, so this n will be equal to m of L minus 1 plus m. So your first sequence, this will be m of L minus 1. And the last sequence will be, please check this, because this is m of L minus 1 plus small m, that is again m minus 1. So this will be, you can write x of Lm minus 1, because m will be cancelled out. Minus m and plus m. So your last sequence will be x of Lm minus 1, and Lm what we have considered, that is the capital of N. That means you are storing all the data of x of 0 to x of n minus 1 in the two-dimensional array. But you are filling this data, or you are storing with this data row wise. Firstly, you can store the data in the first row, then second row, then third row, then L minus 1 and 2 with this expression. Yeah. Now the second way of the representation of this, if I'm writing n equal to L plus ML. Now if I can store this data, because this concept we are using in the divide and conquer approach. Okay. Now this. Now if here 0, 1, 2, L minus 1, 0, 1, 2, M minus 1. Now if M equal to 0, first, what is N? L. And L is again 0 to L minus 1. Now I am first storing this data x of 0. If L is 1, x is 1, this is x of L minus 1. Next, if M is 1, N will become L plus of capital of L. So L is 0 to L minus 1. So next data will be x of L plus 1, x of twice of L minus 1. And it is same as the last, if you are computing, this is x of, because M is M minus 1 into L plus L minus 1. If you expand this, so ML, L will be cancelled out. So this will be M into L minus 1, and this is of course your capital of N. So again you are storing this data from x of 0 to x of n minus 1. Now here you are storing this all the samples from x of 0 to x of n minus 1 column wise. Okay. So this is about the n parameter where n is varies from 0 to n minus 1. So similar arrangement you can use to store the DFT coefficients value, because this is the sample value or the coefficients value of x of n I am considering. Now if you have the x of k, that is again from x of 0 to, that means capital of x of 0 to x of n minus 1. So again this k parameter you can reduce by the two ways, either storing either row wise or storing the element either column wise. Okay. Now suppose if we are taking the another indices for this k, I am taking the p and q. So p values is again 0 to l minus 1 and q value is again 0 to m minus 1, because n is same, n is ln to m. Only I am changing the indices. Small l small m, instead of I am considering for k this p and q. So what we can write? We can write either k value will be mp plus q. Similarly, our first statement where n equal to ml plus m, where l replaced by the p value and the small m replaced with the q indices. So k will be equal to capital M into p plus small q. That means we are storing the DFT coefficients row wise. Okay. That means we are considering here row wise. Now the second we can write similarly as earlier we have done, that is L plus ML, L replaced by P, small m replaced by Q. So K will be equal to capital L, Q plus P. So K will be capital L, Q plus P. This is the second way to represent. Column wise. Okay. Now, if you see your DFT expression, because we are deducing this algorithm from the your DFT expression, because ultimately your final output will be same. Only way to compute that Fourier coefficient is different, right? Now, if I am taking here this x of k n minus 1 that is w of n of k. Yeah. Now here the parameter of n and k, I am considering n equal to L plus m into L and k will be equal to mp plus q. That means k mp plus q, this is row wise, and L plus ml, this is column wise. So we can fill the two-dimensional array according to that. Okay. Now this k parameter is what? Single dimensional parameter will represent with the two-dimensional indices, that is p and q. This n represents with the L and M. So L equal to 0 to L minus 1 summation of M equal to 0 to capital M minus 1. This n indices represents as the L comma of M. This real factor capital of N represent L plus M of L, and K will be MP plus Q. Up to this, any doubt? Okay. Now, firstly, we are solving for this factor. Okay. So if we solve this factor, that means expand this one, W of N, L of MP, W of N, LQ, W of N, ML, M of P, W of N, MLQ. Now, can we write this dual factor to W of N by M of LP? Can we write this? Because this factor is what? E की power minus of j 2 pi by capital of N L M of P. So here I am writing exponential of minus of j 2 pi N by M L into P. Okay. For this, I am writing directly same, because further we can't solve. This factor W of N M L M is what? Capital of N into P. So what is this value? This value becomes e की power minus of j 2 pi by N M into P into capital of N will be cancelled out. So exponential of minus j 2 pi MP. MP is the integer value. So again this value becomes 1 because cos of 2 pi. Okay. This factor I have to write N by L MQ. Similarly for the first factor. Okay. Now you can write this expression again. Here I am writing this x of p comma q L of 0 L minus 1 summation of M equal to 0 to capital M minus 1 x of L comma M W of, okay, you can write this W of N by L, that is capital of M, because I am considering N equal to Lm. So N by L is capital of M and this factor becomes capital of L. So I am writing here M of Q into W of L LP into W of N LQ. Okay. Now check this expression. This is what? Can we say this is the M point DFT expression? Okay. So if we can reduce this m point DFT expression, but this is m equal to 0 to m minus 1, and we have storing the x of n in the two-dimensional array, that means this is the row-wise element. Because here L is constant, okay? So if I am writing here, suppose this factor f of L comma Q, that will be x of summation of m equal to 0 to m minus 1 x of L comma m w of m into m of q. Okay, so here L is fixed, m is varied. If you can expand this, so this will be L comma 0 w of m q into 0 plus x of L comma 1 plus x of L comma 2 to q, and this will be L comma q, and q is again 0 to m minus 1 and small l is 0 to l minus 1. So you can fill the two-dimensional array completely. Okay, so I can reduce the above expression with this fl of q. So I can write I am writing this equation number 1. This is equation number 2. So I'm writing equation number 3. X of p comma q summation of L equal to 0 to L minus 1. This is f of L comma q. I'm multiplying with this the factor again, and this will be L of LP. This is our third equation. Okay. Now f L comma q and w of n L comma q. This is a simple multiplication. If I reduce this g L comma q, that should be suppose f L comma q w of n L comma q. So this is a two-dimensional vector, multiply with this two-dimensional vector again L comma q, because L is your 0 to L minus 1 and this q is 0 to m minus 1. Okay, so the fourth equation I can write L gl comma q, that should be this factor, the fl comma q into this, or this is basically L comma q into g of L comma q. Okay, sorry, f, not g. This is f. Now what we have, xp of q L equal to 0 to L minus 1 gl comma q w of L into L of p. So this represents L point DFT, as similar earlier, because this represents the M point DFT. So this is your L point DFT, and finally you can get xp comma q as your discrete Fourier coefficients. Okay. So in this complete process, you have seen the three different steps. First one is this. Firstly, you have to take M point DFT row wise. Second, multiplication with the this total factor, but with the output of the first step, FLQ. When you get the output of this multiplication, the third step, again you need to get the L point DFT. And this L point DFT is the column wise because L equal to 0 to L minus of 1. So if we can again further solve this, x of p comma q, or open this one, so this will be 0 comma q, L is again 0, plus g 1 comma q, w of L p into 1, plus up to g of L minus 1 comma q. This term. And this p value is again 0 to L minus of 1. Up to this, any doubt? Yeah, Harshvardhan, I think you are saying something. Harsh? Okay. Now, what is the after in the next lecture we are taking some example and how to solve this, because this is a completely mathematical formulation of that, but we need to compute the further number of multiplications and the additions. Okay, so we have the three steps. First is what? We need to get this f value, that is fl comma q, m equal to 0 to m minus 1 x of L comma of m, w of m, q. Second step, we can get this one, g L comma q, that will be w of n, lq. And third step, we can get final x of p comma q. This will be summation of w of L, lp. Okay, this is the m point DFT. This is L point DFT. M point DFT we are taking the row wise, and L point DFT we are taking the column wise. And earlier you have for the n point DFT, what we have seen in the case of the DFT, that means for n point DFT we require the n square complex multiplications and n into n minus 1 complex additions, because we are computing for all the values of k. Now for the first step, if we are computing, so how many number of the complex multiplications are required? This is m point DFT you are computing, but for what? This L, 0 to L minus 1. That is for single value of L. If I am calculating, suppose f of 0 comma q only, for single value of L, you are computing the m point DFT. That means you require the, I'm writing here first, for single value of L, you require m square complex multiplications and the m into m minus 1 complex additions are required, because for each value of L you need to find m point DFT. Okay, so for all value of L, 0 L equal L minus 1, you need the L into m square complex multiplications and L of m minus 1 complex additions are required. Similarly, for the third step, because this is L point DFT for the single value of P, and P value is what? 0 to L minus 1. Sorry, not P, because P is same. For the single value of Q, and Q value is 0 to M minus 1. Because L is varied, Q is fixed. So for the single value of Q, you get the L square complex multiplications and the L into L minus 1 complex additions are required. But for all the value of Q, where Q is varied from 0 to M minus 1, the total complex multiplication is ML square and total complex addition is M into L minus 1 for the third step. For the second step, because this is a direct multiplications and where L is varied 0 to L minus 1, Q is varied 0 to M minus 1. So there is no additions. This is direct multiplication. So number of the multiplication will be L into M. So if you are calculating total complex multiplications, so this will be Lm square plus L of M plus ML square. So you can solve this one because Lm you can common. So this is capital of N, this is M plus L plus 1. And finally total complex additions, this will be L of M, M minus 1 plus M of L, L minus 1. So this will be N, M plus L minus of 2. Now again for the 100 point DFT, if you can compute the total complex multiplication and total complex additions, and you can validate whatever number of the complex multiplication and additions is required, the divide and conquer approach will be higher or the lower than the your direct DFT computation. Okay. So this is the way to find out the computational complexity of any one of the algorithm. Okay. So in the next class we will discuss by taking the one example how to solve the how to take the L point DFT row wise or how to solve the L point DFT column wise, and finally how to we can get the discrete Fourier coefficients value. Okay. Any question? Just let me know first. If not, then I am going to end session.